The Gospel of John was written for a Jewish Christian community that had been exiled from their synagogue of origin and persecuted by the Roman Empire. They struggled to find a safe space where their fledgling Christian community could grow. In the passage we're reading this Sunday, Jesus wreaks angry havoc on the Jewish establishment, driving out money changers and cattle from the temple with a whip, overturning their tables and scattering coins all about. The community for which this passage was written probably received this message with a little ping of vindication. The Jewish establishment which had rejected them was being torn apart by Jesus. This story holds resonance for progressive Christian communities like our own, communities that see Jesus rejecting old ways of being, ways of abuse and exclusion and imperialism. But when the dust settled for the first readers of this story, they must have realized that the destruction of the temple affected them just as deeply as it affected the Jewish establishment. Here, Jesus rejects a way of understanding and worshiping God that had long been the basis of their faith. We too know what it is like to live in the midst of such destruction. However, with this destruction comes the promise of resurrection. Jesus tosses out an old way of being because he's bringing in a new way of being. No longer are sacrifices or temple worship necessary to encounter God. Christ is already here. Christ is in all. The passage ends with a claim that nobody believed Jesus' promise of resurrection and new life. Do we?